Hello guys and welcome back to a new tutorial. In today's video we are going to take the next steps for our Laravel application. So we set up everything at tutorial.local.com. So we have like this. We are on Laravel 9.45 and PHP 8.1. So the next steps are, let's say we have like our project for quite a while. We want to update it. Well, an option will be like to pull the latest image that we use and rebuild a container. So we can like do this 8.1 and fpm, and like this will pull like the latest image, and after that we rebuild. But we can also exec the container um, as root, right? So I'm gonna use dash u root, then it, and then the name of container, and then bash, and like this I can like run upget update, upget upgrade, and yeah, and like update my image from inside. I can like even update the latest like get the latest npm, or maybe do like composer self update. So if you like need to update packages globally, install some other things in the container, you need some extra packages and you want only to test them and not to have to like rebuild every time. So to go in here, for example, for PHP, and um, just keep adding here, rebuilding the image, and you don't know what exactly will work, what exactly you need. So you exec this container as root, and then kind of like test what you need to install and use. And yeah, after that you confirm everything is good, you add them back to the Docker file and rebuild the container. Getting back to in here, right? So I want to like go in here and check like composer, and in here we have some things. I told you like what are the next step. So I want to like force to use PHP 8.1 since my container it's PHP 8.1. These packages I'm not really sure if like they are the latest version. Maybe I want to like get the latest. Same for this and some other packages that you might find useful. So I go in here and I go like this, composer require, and then for PHP I said I want a version bigger than 8.1, right? Then for Gazelle HTTP I don't care, I want like the latest version. For Laravel framework I want to be like the latest 9 version, so I'm gonna like go like this even if um, it's something in there. For Horizon, I don't care, the latest available version. For Santum, the same, and from for Tinker, like the same. So I go this and um, Composer. Yeah, my bad. Okay, so Composer require, and like this some packages will be updated, some other like go to the latest version. So for like Laravel will be 9.4.48 the latest, and yeah, some other version for the others. So like this my composer change this, and I'll do the same for, sorry, for the required dev version. So I'm gonna go composer require dash dash dev, and then close this and not like force any version. So I want like to be on the latest um, things. Mockery, Maduro collision, PHP unit, and then Laravel ignition. Okay, so I have like all that. I'm like up to date. There is one other package that I recommend using in the dev. Uh, um, I will show you why like it's important. So I'm gonna go in here and type it. So that's like um, Baridis is the helper. If you are not familiar what this does, you will like kind of learn with me and why like it's important. So um, we need to kind of install it like this. So composer require dash dash dev and um, like Baridis is a helper for like that have like three big things in the helper generate, in the helper models, and in the helper meta. The last one it's only for PHP Storm. Uh, if you're like using VS Code, the first two will be enough. But I will like show you in a second. So first of all, every time we do composer update, we want to regenerate this because maybe we install some other packages or something. So we kind of like want to generate again. So I'm gonna put those in post update command. So adding a comma and adding those two here. So in the helper generate and in the helper meta, I can like run them manually. And okay, so what happened? Those two files were added. So basically, we'll kind of like um, tell the IDE where each of the like commands and everything within namespace where can be found because Laravel use facades and it's very hard like to follow the path or where to get. So this is the helper and PHP Storm Meta kind of like helps you and you have like all the methods like that are access through facades from Laravel and you kind of like can follow and go to Laravel um, inside method. The next step is like to configure PHP unit and PHP to recognize the IDE. So I'm gonna go here on settings and I say the CLI interpreter will be from Docker. So I go from Docker, I say it's in Docker. Oh, yeah, actually it's in VSL, it's in Debian. Nope, in Docker, my bad. So it's in Docker. The image I want to use it's like tutorial PHP latest and PHP interpreter path PHP. So like this, it's checking. Alright, it's connecting to Docker and we'll see it detected 8114. So like this, I have like configuration. It's Xdebug, it's also configured. So I'm gonna apply. I want to connect Xdebug as well, so we'll connect that in there as well. So I'm gonna apply and I have PHP connected. I want to do same for PHP unit. So I'm gonna go like um let's see where. So PHP unit will be remote interpreter and will be from here. And now we have like everything. So we have connected to the PHP unit. Now we have our um, like configure. If I do composer update, like I told you, so obviously everything is up to, or maybe not, yeah. So we'll kind of like update all the package dependencies. At the end, we'll kind of redo the uh, um, redo the helper and PHP store. And if I if I like go to the Laravel Horizon installation, right? I want to like go in here. Um, okay, let me go to the Laravel Horizon. So if I go like to the Horizon documentation, this is like a queue management that has a dashboard. Actually, if I go like to Horizon in here, we're gonna see in a second how to like protect this to be accessible only for some users. We have this dashboard for queue management. But in here on the installation, we have Composer require Horizon install, just ensuring everything is installed. So it's publishing service provider assets, configuration, and so on. But below in here, at some point, is saying if you want like to keep your Horizon like up to date, um, you should add this to the post update CMD. So every time you kind of update Horizon, this you need kind of to publish assets as well. So link this Horizon publish as well in here. We have also assets, and Horizon it's like run through supervisor as they kind of recommend here. If you like want to have a nice dashboard, as well in here they recommend to add some snapshot. So do this Horizon snapshot like every minute in your like schedule. So I go back like to the console kernel schedule, and I go here and say command um, Horizon snapshot every 5 minutes, and the inspire command maybe to like run, let's say daily, not like every hour. It's nice to have some inspiration from time to time. um yeah, so those will be like the configuration for this. um I told you like about either helper and models, right? So with either helper, let's say I like do migrate, right? Oh, nothing to migrate, everything is run. So I have this like model user, and from user I have like name, password. If I go into controller, right, let me make a little bit bigger. If I go into a controller and I don't know, let's do like, let me make bigger. So I have like public function test, whatever index, doesn't matter. All right, and I go like this: user equals new user. If I want like to see what I have name in there, or I have email equals whatever, right? Email it's not kind of recognized. It says it's accessible via magic method and so on. If I go in here and I go either helper models, and then I can either like specify the model. You can look into documentation. This will generate for all the models running like this. So if I do this, will write a doc block to all models that I have with whatever it's in the database. So it's connecting to the database and getting the properties from there and adding this documentation for the user. So the documentation is like this. So it says property ID, name, email, email verify that it's either carbon or null, password, and remember token, and so on. So if I go back in my controller, now email, I can see it's in here. If I like want to see all the properties, when I go pointer, I have like name, created, ID, and everything that I like kind of access or add or yeah, do in there. And for example, if I have some relation in here, right, I'm gonna go like public function, let's say password resets, whatever, it doesn't matter. It's like random, and I'm gonna go return dollar. Okay, dollar this has many. Let's go has many, and I'm gonna go with yeah, I need maybe to create that when I have like a model. Let's say I have this like model password uh, reset model, right? Will be in there, and the foreign it's like email, and the local it's also email. um so if I go like this, right, this password resets will be also populated in here as property read, and it's like accessible through, I mean, it's like auto completed. So if I go like this user, um, it will like give me nice hints on how can use that and what will be like a collection, and everything like that. So that's like a useful way. I want like the next step. Let me remove this. So the next step in configuration is like to properly connect Xdebug. So in case I want at any point like to debug something, I can like debug. So okay, let me go in my roots file and in the web, and I say uh, rewrite this. So I'm gonna go like root get so okay will be this, go to like controller, and then the method will be index, and comment this, and return view welcome will be inside this controller. So will be like return view welcome, doesn't matter, I don't save this. Let's say I want like to put a breakpoint here and stop at this line. So I want to configure xdebug and have xdebug. If you don't like know what xdebug is, you'll find in a second. If you remember last time, we added some configuration for xdebug in here and added like id key, client port, and like so on. If we go like in our Docker Compose, we have 9001, 9001, so all good. We have like the Docker. So how can we like connect to that? So I added this breakpoint. All good with that. Let's try to connect it. Let's see first of all if it like works. So going back in here to tutorial, yeah, I have like rendered. So I want like to connect Xdebug. I'm gonna go like to configuration, and I'm gonna add a new configuration in here, and will be remote debug. Okay, and server, I'm gonna add a new server. So say remote xdebug. Okay, I think we need to adjust this after. So in here we want a PHP storm, and now we need kind of to connect to it. So remote xdebug. Okay, so this remote xdebug, the host will be like local host, and the port will be 9001. Okay, and I think that will be all. Let's hope that will be all. Not really sure. I've done this. I didn't done this in a while, but let's see. So I've started listening. Let's try to kind of refresh. We didn't work. Okay, after some intense debug session, I found the issue. So in Xdebug ini, I added these two um, things like dev out and local level, and also changed the port from 9001 to 9003. So changed all that, and then in the Docker Compose, obviously the internal port is 9003 now for like this Docker. And then on the configurations, if I'm like editing configuration, so let me like stop everything. So there are like a couple of settings. So on build execution and development, I connected to Docker. So I said VSL and everything, and connection successful. And then on PHP on debug, well, not actually on debug, on servers, I added this server where the host is like your Docker host in order like to get this, for example, go into like PowerShell, and in here there is something like this. So grep name server etc resolve conf, oh, not in PowerShell, my bad, in Debian. So in Debian in here, so run this command and will give you this IP of the Docker host. So you add that IP here, the port is 9001, the one that is exposed, and the debugger is Xdebug. And you also want to check these path mappings, and in here your project maps to var_vv because that's what we use inside container. So added this, and then on like configuration in here on the PHP remote debug, we filter by IDE key. We add that server we created, and the IDE key is PHP Storm. And now if I like start listening for this and put some breakpoints in here, right, and then refresh this page, so it stopped. As you can see, it's now loading. So I go in here and I can like follow Xdebug and check everything. So I'm like in controller, I see what's in cookies, in env, in request, and so on, to go like to next breakpoint F9. Now I have a user model and I see everything it's in here. Go to like next break. Now in the email, we can see like in user the, like if we go to the attributes, we can see the email. And yeah, like this you can like debug your application, and um, it's a way better debug to see what's actually happens than using like vardump, dump and die, and other tools that you want to like debug. So if you want to have like a better debug, I recommend using Xdebug and uh, not the classic one. Obviously, this will be only on a dev environment, not on a live environment. Um, so yeah, that's like the Xdebug connection. So I'm gonna like use this when maybe encounter some issues, some problems, some other things. Um, okay, so that will be like the initial configuration for like our controller, our Laravel application, our Laravel tutorial. Um, depends on, yeah, how long it takes you to maybe give you a bad gateway, or like on our PHP settings and everything. When you break out of the Xdebug, depend on how long you stay there. So last time we kind of built this env. So we have like the first, it's everything good. The second, it's good, we have connection, we have like all that. For mail, if you want to have like mails in a local environment, I recommend using Mailtrap. So you set up on inbox, it's free. you will the retention will be up to like 50 emails received. So in here, in like your inbox, you'll have like show credentials and what you should complete in here, like for credentials. It's like uh, mail mailer will be SMTP, host will be smtp.mailtrap.com, port will be 2525. I believe that's like the port. Then you'll have the username and password from there. The mail encryption will be TLS. From address, you can put like anything in here. We're gonna say maybe no reply at tutorial.local.com. So yeah, and from app names, because we put like tutorial in here, and like this, you set up this. As file system disk, we are using public, so that means inside container. I'm not really sure if I like show you this last time, but if not, you need to like run this command. Apparently, we already did that. If you want to like use AVS in a local environment, but not to connect to actual AVS, I have this um, Minion cluster that it's like an Aves, and you can like download and set up, and only what you have to do is set your this depends on what you set in the env as domain host, and add those two extra, and then obviously whatever like you create as like id, access, region, bucket, and so on and so on, and this it's up to you want to use, and the rest I explained you last time. um I think that will be like all for today's video. In next video, my plan is to maybe use a starter kit. So um I'm not really sure what you like to see. I was thinking about Breeze and React, but if you want like to use Blade or maybe Vue, or yeah, or Next.js with API, let me know. Um, yeah, I'm like waiting for your comments, and see you next time.